So the title for this video is something that I got inspired by from another video. Um, yeah, I just wanted to roll with it and mainly uh, present a perspective that might be needed and hopefully help a few people who are on their journey and might be struggling with defining who they are and orienting their inner selves with their outer reality. So I'm 25 years old. I'm married. I have a wife. I have a son. Right now, I'm working part time as a busser. That's the main way I'm making income. And I have a business that I'm building. But I do struggle with defining exactly what this business is because it doesn't fit into any regular business. The things that I'm attempting to do are things that not many people have attempted to do, I believe. And so I also have this uh, thing in the back of my head, which is, should I go to school? I've been studying psychology for years now. I've been creating content with an emphasis on integrating spirituality with psychology, and also now just a few years ago just started implementing other things such as physical health and emotional health, basically healing. And it's taken me through a long path, very different. Sometimes I feel like I used to feel very spread out, very much like, I have this job, but, can't I just um, find something, get a 9 to 5 and find something secure? And so I've wrestled with these questions of, should I look for a 9 to 5 that would just pay the bills and just, build my career? Or should I go all in into my business? Is this the right moment? Or struggling between those two things. And along the way, I've been able to find a lot of peace in being a busser, in working in the restaurant industry. I hated it. I hated working on a 9 to 5. Before this, I was using Uber Eats for income, but moving to San Diego and having a child really had to change that for me, as I couldn't make enough money um, to pay the bills. But along the way, have found a lot of I've learned a lot in terms of the merit that comes from working a regular 9 to 5. I've learned a lot, and been able to kind of align myself in a way that allows me to feel happy going to work, to feel at peace, to not have those thoughts in my head, which is like, I don't want to be here, I hate this, etc., etc. I managed to, find, like, meet a lot of cool people in there. Also, just develop myself as an individual, um, developing patience, um, developing, compassion, gaining better skills in terms of just being a team player, but also, voicing myself and letting people know how to respect me, creating those boundaries, because it can get rough in this industry, to be honest. But I'm very grateful for it, and just recently, about a month ago, I realized that I don't want to be in this industry anymore. And it wasn't coming out of this feeling of, oh, I hate this place, etc. It was actually coming from this place of, like, I think I can do better. I think that my skills, like, I know that my skills, like, I'm overqualified for this job, even if I wanted to be a server. Because I do want to make more money so that I can continue to build. Basically, I want to make more money so I can continue to build my business. But that can be difficult if I don't know exactly where my business is headed. Um, I'm realizing that my business is very like, I'm building something great, but when you're inside the process doing it, you don't realize, like, how well you're doing. Um, you just get caught up in building and building, and so it's never really enough. But I realize I'm building something great, and this past month has been really a journey of trying to figure out, okay, do I want to, like, how am I going to define who I am, and how am I going to define what I do? Uh, and really, I realized that it came back down to, being able to define myself to my core rather than using any external thing as a definition. And I think this is an answer that needs to be heard, because this is really the only way I was able to manage being in a 9 to 5, working in a place I didn't like, that I didn't want to be in, but also needing to pay the bills, and also working out a whole new business. Just working out this business and figuring out how to implement all of these new desires, all of these new things, all of these new interests. Because along the way, I have been exploring different interests. If you look at my business, like I talk about social dancing, I talk about healing, I talk about psychology, I talk about meditation, philosophy, etc. It's just an amalgamation of all these different things. And so to be able to fit into all these different lines of being, and still being able to bring them together into something coherent, that's been very difficult. But through this approach of me uh, constantly trying to just find who I am at my core, I realized that, like I said earlier, like, I don't want to be working as a busser anymore. I don't want to be in the restaurant industry. I've also, before this, I also thought that I could just make it as a business, and I'll make my money, and like, self-made. I don't need a degree. I don't need to get a doctorate. I don't need to get a master's. I don't want to be a counselor. I said I don't want to be um, you know, like, I want to influence people at scale, and building systems. I think that's really the thing for me. I want to build systems. I don't just want to be working one to one, and that being just like me just having my individual practice and that's it. I want to build systems, and I want to revolutionize the industries, and so that's what the intent behind my business. And along the way, I was very against going back to school. I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. I was really against going back to school. I just didn't think it was for me. But just having conversations with my wife, and thinking about also beyond income, beyond paying bills, like, what is money to me? Um, like, right now, I'm also day trading, so I'm hoping to pass my challenge this upcoming month and just begin to make some income, um, which will be great. That, like, if I can make 5 to 10K a month from day trading, which is possible, um, then that would be life changing for me. Just an extra K for me right now would just change a lot of things up. But um, yeah, I've been day trading too, and so uh, with this realization that I don't want to work in the restaurant industry, I just realized that my skills are just gonna be used better outside of it, and something that outside of just like for me, creating content is great. I love creating content. I love the idea of having millions of followers, and I think I will. That is a dream, but it's not so much a dream. But now for me, it's more so just a logical step in the business. That is one of the things to do. But this reorientation of my definition of who I am has really transformed the way I make decisions, and I think that's really the biggest part. And I hope that this is important for you. For me, I realized that the soul defines everything for me. Like, I'm defining myself as a soul, so I don't see myself in terms of, like, how much I make, or how people see me, or, trying to make something in terms of what is already working. Instead, I'm just trying to create something out of nothing, right? Just trying to bring forth something completely new. And I'm allowing myself to go through that process, because it's very difficult trying to create something completely new that hasn't been seen before, and that other people aren't really aware of. Like, the regular individual person wouldn't know exactly, wouldn't even conceive of something like this. So and really, the end goal is just a life. It's just my life that I'm trying to build. I'm trying to really build something solid, trying to build something that is unique. So yeah, so after conversating with my wife, I've realized that I do see myself as a psychologist, and the content I create is great. The systems that I'm building is great. They're great, but um, it in terms of having a security net, but also in terms of elevation of, I think more so of frequency. Um, I feel like I want to get go back to school, get my doctorates, work in the psychology field, in the field of psychology, where it be having something to do with education, like teaching schools, being a teacher, or being working alongside therapists, trying to figure out if I can, work in an office of some sort that is working in the field of psychology, or a behavior therapist, but just being in that field, with my capacity for compassion and my capacity for my desire for service. I've realized that it's not so much about the money, because the money will come either way. Like, if I get a doctorate, I could make easily 100 to 200,000 dollars a year. Um, and like that's in the bag, right? Like, I I've graduated from college. I know how to succeed as a student, and with the amount of information I've developed along the years on psychology and in practice as a holistic healer, like there's no way I'm not gonna do great in the field. So in like 4 to 6 years, 5 to 7 years, getting a doctorate, I'll have that secured. But I think that that's more so a reflection of who I am as an individual, because if I think about the restaurant industry, like there's a cap to it. I could be a manager, but being in there, I realized that I don't see myself doing the tasks that I'm doing. Serving food to people and all that. Like I found a rhythm to it. I found a beauty to it, but who I am at my core, that's not me. I see myself working with people, one on one, but also teaching, educating one to many, creating systems, and being at the forefront of psychology and trying to figure out how to heal people, while also presenting research on creativity, and helping businessmen, also entrepreneurs, create beautiful businesses in line with what is the highest, in line with their souls. Like that is what I see myself doing, and I'm already doing it, but I see now myself transitioning into more of that. So I'm going to submit my application to a local clinic, which is hopefully become like an educator there, work my way up, not even work my way up, just like bring all my skills to there. And I think that that's where it's gonna be best met. But yeah, there's an important transition in my life, because this past month has been about me defining who I am, knowing that I don't want to be where I'm at, and understanding that who I am defines the path, or creates the path to where I'm at. So knowing that I don't want to be here anymore, I came back to myself, trying to figure out who I am and what I'm becoming. And like, what are the habits, what are the things that lead to decisions I make, like what's at the core of that. And so yeah, it's coming to the realization that I am a soul, and that has allowed me to free myself from these constraints which were putting me down, really, because I feel like, for me, the only reason I was in a restaurant was because I had this idea in my mind that I'm not going to be working in the field of psychology, because I'm already doing that in my business. So why would I even want to work for someone else when I could work for my business and make money on my own? But like, I think that, and then also for me, it's like, oh, I'm not going to be working on my business for that long. So I just need to get something that's like quick and easy to make money from. Oh, the restaurant industry, that makes sense. But like, I mean, if you think about it, like, if that's what I'm doing, if that's what I'm doing, then I feel like it's almost contrary to my nature. Like, if my true nature is about psychology, then why wouldn't I go into a field that's about psychology? If that's really what I'm good at, I can bring value into now. Like, I can bring value into now, and I know I have that truth, right? Like, I can bring value into the restaurant industry, which I have done. Just like I've had podcasts and interviews and helped out some people in the field, but I realized that I don't want to be in that field anymore. And I think that the main lesson is that a lot of people make decisions, and they define who they are by what they do, and they forget that what they do is a result of who they are. and I think this video is super important because, like, how can I have the capacity to believe myself to be somebody of importance, of of value, of authority. Of authority is a really important word. How can I believe myself to believe to be somebody of authority when I don't have the credentials, right? Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't have my doctorates, right? Um, but along this path of, like, entrepreneurship, um, and being in a restaurant, having to, bite the bullet and just go to a restaurant and go back to that, right? Like, having to go back and work this really, like, humble job, um, has been a great journey for me. It's been a great journey, and it's taught me a lot. But most importantly, it's taught me how to define myself, regardless of the circumstances. Um, Knowing that anybody around me, anybody and everybody deserves the same amount of respect. Um, what makes somebody an authority is somebody who is connected to their soul, who is being real, who's being authentic, and who is showing that consistently. And so I found myself to just have a really solid understanding of my worth and value, and my confidence and competence. And I think that a lot of people struggle because you might find yourself being in a position where you're working a job that you don't like, feeling like you could do better. You might want to be starting your own business, but often, I'm gonna say that often the struggle isn't because you're in the wrong place or anything or any of that sorts. The struggle is that you're just not seeing your worth. You're not connected to your soul, and you're not defining yourself by your soul, through your soul. So that means connecting to your soul and understanding that, okay, what are the traits that I have? Compassion, do I have that? Emotional intelligence, creativity, am I already doing what I want to be doing? um, and not trying to control or define exactly what it is you're doing, because what you are is a process. And as a process, you have to understand that there's going to be many things that you're going to explore, many things that you're going to have your hands in, many things you're going to be interested in, but the through line is what you want to be, that leads your decisions. You have to be able to walk with your hands not holding on to anything. um, the moment you do is the moment that you become flexible, and you don't define yourself by what you do. Like, I am a busser, or I do have a wife, I do have a son, I am growing a business, I don't have a doctorate, right? Like, I have all these things, but what gives me the capacity to get on this camera and believe that what I have to say is worth saying, um, that comes from me just understanding what it means to resonate. It comes from resonance, it comes from alignment, um, it comes from truth, from knowing my truth. And through that's allowed me to get to the point where I'm at, right? Which is have like, my son just turned a year old, he's a healthy boy, having a loving relationship with my wife, having people come to me for asking for coaching, right? Like, being able to create what I've created, like, those are just results of a cause, and I am the cause. And yeah, I think that's really it. Um, But with that being said, yeah, I'm excited. I think I woke up today very clear. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna apply for I believe a PsyD program. Uh, by the end of next year, 2025. So this upcoming year is just gonna be preparation to continue to build my businesses, get those references, get that get that get develop those connections, get into the field once again. Um, Continue to refine my systems, continue to lay the groundwork, lay the foundation for my family, so that I can be set to go to school for the next 5 to 7 years, 4 to 6 years, um, and then yeah, I mean that's really it. That is really it. I'm really excited, and yeah, and today I'm gonna go. I already applied for the job, but I'm gonna go turn in my resume and cover letter in person. See if I can get to know the people at the place I'm applying for, and whether I get the job or not. I'm very open to seeing what happens, what the universe is bringing forward. I'm actually quite excited. So yeah, I feel free. I feel like one last thing that I want to say is that in connecting to my soul, I realized that um, the labels that you use to define yourself are best to be used as tools. So instead of labels being something that you stick on yourself, labels become things that you can remove and reconstruct and reconfigure. Uh, so this thing with the PhD program, and for example, like I said to myself, well, like I don't need to be a like I don't need to have the doctorates. I can do it on my own. Like I don't need to make more money. I don't see myself being in a one-to-one clinic, etc. That's what I thought was the label. That's what I thought the label meant. To be a doctor, so it would be this specific path, being very specific and whatever. But now, connecting to my soul and my essence, what would it mean for me to be a doctor, to have a doctorate, right? What would it mean for that to happen? And now I'm reconstructing, and it means something completely different. It'd be a way for me to establish myself as a thought leader. It'd be a way for me to gain connections, understand the system, to be able to integrate it with my system. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to a system to be a part of it. Instead, I'm using it as a way to integrate. I'm integrating that system into who I am, into my system. And so the system outside of me doesn't define me. Rather, it brings much more value to me because I'm able to use that as information, as building blocks for my own system that will be even better, right? So I'm walking away from all of these labels, right? I'm not just a father. I am redefining what it means to be a father. I'm not just a busser. I'm redefining what it means to be a busser. I'm not just an entrepreneur. I'm redefining what it means to be an entrepreneur for myself and for the betterment of everybody else around me. And so that's that's where you want to be. Like that's the position you want to be in, where you see yourself not becoming something outside of you, but rather you see yourself as the process that you are, and see that every circumstance that comes to you is helping you redefine who you are. It's helping you build a better definition of what it means to be yourself, but also through you choose to see those labels in a different way. Not in the way that everybody else sees it, but in a way that you see it and harmonizes with who you truly are. So that's really it. Hope this was helpful. If you guys are watching this channel for the first time, yeah, just make sure to say what's up. Hopefully this is helpful. Alright, stay lucid. Peace out.